Hey Academy Answers, how you doing? Welcome to the podcast. This is the Academy Answers podcast where we discuss the topics on happiness, full potential, personal development, becoming your best self, doing what you were created to do, and serving the world, serving yourself, and creating something awesome for your family. It's all about creating something. And that thing which you create will be the driving force, will be the vehicle through which you live your best life, through which you access happiness and freedom. We talk about freedom and happiness because it sits at the top of the scale. It sits at the top of the pyramid of all we're trying to achieve in life. If you cannot be happy, what else is there? And we're doing a series of 20 for 2020. It's corny, yes, I know. I don't care. I'm doing 20 principles. I'm doing 20 points. I'm exploring 20 ideas that will help you to start the year, help you to maintain, to do the process, go through the year, and to help you to finish strong. It will help everybody. As I help you, I help myself. I'm not talking to you or at you. I'm talking to you. I'm talking with you. We're doing this together. Nobody, I don't care who it is, you might think this is all good and hunky-dory for them. Nobody have it all figured out. Everybody's figuring out something. And when someone has a problem, whatever emotional hurt it caused them, they are being hurt. And it doesn't matter the type of problem, it doesn't matter the level of problem. If we are stressed, we are stressed. You might be stressed because you don't have a car. The next guy might be stressed because he cannot pay his bus fare. The next guy might be stressed because his TV remote is broken. And the other guy might be stressed because he just lost $25 million off his $300 million. We're all stressed. Whatever it is, still have the same effect on the body. Everything is about how we process it. So we want to touch on fundamental principles, not the click and go tips, hacks, tricks. We want to use the fundamental principles of growth and of life. And that's what we're discussing. So now we're at episode 5 in the series. Thank you for listening. I hope you're getting value from this. You can reach out to me, YouTube, Instagram, Loan Motivator Car, Success Academy. Find me there. I think the links are somewhere in this thing. You can link and say I'm learning, I'm being motivated, I'm being inspired. Shut up, Loan, whatever you want. Give me some feedback. I respect them and I answer to all my comments for the most part. So today we're talking about what do you do when you feel broken, when you feel like you're not figuring it out, when you feel that life is not working for you, when you feel like everything is coming at you. What do you do? Look, it is such a big overlooked issue of how do you restore, how do you re-energize. And it happened to me all the time. You know, sometimes you're feeling down, you're feeling like you don't have anything figured out, you're feeling stressed, it's over you, you're under pressure, everything seems to be going wrong, and you feel like you're just at your breaking point. I'm sure you can relate to that. Well, if we take an intelligent look at the topic, it's inevitable that you will get into these ruts. You will feel stuck, you'll feel frustrated, you get overwhelmed, because people who have ambition will face these things. It is like a necessary byproduct of ambition. The idea that you get stuck, that you feel under pressure, you feel overwhelmed, you feel like it's not working out, you feel just lost, you're frustrated. What do you do in these times? Because most times, or all of the time, there's never a time when overwhelm or frustration works for you. It is actually working against you. The feeling in and of itself doesn't do anything to help you. If anything, it does things to block your productivity, to drain your energy, to hold you back. And you might feel frustrated for 2 days, for 2 hours, for 2 weeks, and throughout that 2 weeks, it's not giving you perspective. And you're really losing time and you're losing traction. but we get into these ruts. So how do you ensure that as you go through this year, as you approach your goals, as you think about your plans, as you make plans and take actions on these, as you try, as you test, as you rework, as you proceed, how do you ensure that your downtime, because that's what frustration and overwhelm is, your downtime, your unproductive time is minimalized, eliminated, or shortened? How do you minimalize it? Is minimalize a word? I don't remember. I don't even know. How do you shorten this time? How do you eliminate some of this frustration so that you can get the maximum time and you can get your maximum effort to go into these activities? How do you do that? And it is a big deal. It is a problem. It is something that people go through. I hope my mic was out of place. I hope that this audio was going well. Maybe it's cleared up now. I'm so sorry. How do you get out of this rut? How do you become better? How do you get back on track? And there are two ways to ensure that you keep your frustration levels to a minimum, that you stay out of a rut, that you stay away from overwhelm. And I'll discuss them with you. First thing is that you must make your plan. And I'll tell you why your plan is important in a second. You must make your plan, your goals. You must have your measurable targets that you are going after, because you need something to check off against. And if you don't have anything to check off against, overwhelm is easy to take you over. It's very easy to be overwhelmed, because what you will be doing, you'll be doing a lot of activities, and then when you come up to measure, you won't have any target to measure again. So imagine yourself trying to say, well, I've gotten this far, but you don't know how far that far is. Like, you don't know what is it measured against. You in week 20 of this year, and somewhere in May, in April, you're there saying, well, I haven't gotten my funnel done. I haven't gotten my course done. I did not save that money that I was supposed to save, and I haven't gone to the gym 20 times, enough times, for example. But you don't have any targets as to how much money you wanted to save, how far you would have gotten with this business, how far you should have been in the course, how many times you should have gone to the gym. So you need to set up those targets. You need measurable targets that you are aiming for. And that helps you to stay away from the overwhelming feeling, because if you can look at a paper, if you can look at something and say, okay, I said I was going to go to the gym 20 times. The gym is good. I said I was going to save $2,000. I'm at 15, I'm at 18, I'm at 2,200. That staves off the overwhelm. Progress is the biggest motivator. And if you're motivated, you're not overwhelmed. You cannot be overwhelmed and motivated at the same time. You cannot be feeling progress and be feeling overwhelmed at the same time. Most time the overwhelm is because you feel that you're lacking progress or the level of progress that you should be making. So if you can measure those, that's golden for you. So you need targets. You need deadlines, you need set time and goals that you're working towards, so you can measure how far along you are. If you can measure how far along you are, even if you're not far enough, then the level of overwhelm will be much lower. That's the first thing you need. The second thing you need, and this is really important, you need a way to de-stress, to unwind, to step away, to ease the mind. You see, the mind is something like anything else. It needs a break, it needs rest, it needs restoration, it needs to be replenished. You need to set times and things that are going to give you that break away from things. I'll tell you why you necessarily need that break. I know there's grind everywhere, go hard. You can go much further than you think you can go. When you think you're tired, there's so much left in you. I get it, I understand. But if you are going too hard, you will get into a spot of diminishing returns. Meaning there's a certain point where your creativity is clouded, and there's no point in going 5 more hours if your productivity is falling, because your judgment, your accuracy, and your efficiency will be eroding. And when those are eroding, then you may as well have walked away, go take a break, go play a game or watch a cat video or listen to some music or go for a jog or go do something that's going to take your mind off stuff. Because the thing that you get done, and follow me on this, the thing that you are getting done in those 3-4 hours that you push yourself, you might have to come back and do it. So you would have robbed yourself of the work because it is done poorly, and you'd have robbed yourself of the relaxation because you didn't get to, you sit there and you were doing mediocre work. So you need a break. Everybody needs a break. That's why semesters have breaks. That's why training sessions have breaks. That's why diet plans have cheat days. Everybody needs a break. You need to step away and come back later. And if you are into academics and you do a lot of work with books and reading and studying, you will know that after a time you stop absorbing information when you're studying, like you're in school and you're studying and the information just is not sticking. And when you take a break, when you go to bed, when you wake up, and it start to come to you again, there's a point when nothing is sticking, nothing is working, just like the creative person. When you're writing, when you're designing, it's just not, there are those days, there are those times when it's not sticking. Your brain needs a break so it can get fresh content, fresh material. Take a break, take an ease so you can get back to it at the high level that you are used to working. Your creativity is important, so you have to feed the mind that relaxation and that restoration that will work for your creativity. So it's about building these relaxation and break points into your routine. Because I tell you what often happens with me, I don't build them in. I've not built them in for a long time. I'm just starting to build them in like a couple of months ago, maybe a year ago. And before that, what was happening to me is that I was buried on the frustration for 2, 3, 4 hours. Oh my God, I can't get this right. Oh my God, this is going wrong. Oh my God, what is going on here? This is not working. I feel so frustrated. Now I got that to do. And I'm just spiraling into backward, negative, frustrating kind of a treadmill cycle, and I'm not getting it right. And then maybe 2-3 hours after, maybe a day after, I'm like, why don't I call my friend? Why don't I listen to some music? Why don't I exercise? Why didn't I meditate? And I actually realized that I do have my outlets. I do have my restorative activities, but I don't build them in, and the frustration cloud my mind so much that I don't know when to go to them. So what I'm saying to you is that block the time and block the activity as your go-to, meaning that put it on your schedule, put it in your plan. So on Monday evenings, when I get in, I work until 8, but at 8:30, I watch my series, and then I go to bed at 9:30. On a Wednesday, I wake up in the mornings, I meditate, I work until 6, I get up at 4, I work until 6, then I go for a jog, and then I start working at 8 again. Like, have a routine, have a point where you set. I say, okay, I work for 3 hours, then I go into my room, I turn the music up loud, and I listen to that for 2 hours until I fall asleep. I wake up and start working again. I get frustrated, I set my timer, I jump on my game, I play an hour and a half of games, and then I shut it off when the alarm goes off, and I get back to work. Because it does restore me. You know what makes you feel lighter. You know what restores you. Go to it, build it into your schedule. It does help. It helps a whole lot. It helps a bunch. It will help you to unwind. Everybody needs to unwind. Everybody needs to take the pressure off. So this year, as you go towards your goal, the important thing to know is that first you need to have these goals. You need to have these progress points, these check marks, these things that you schedule, these targets that you have set, and timelines, and Now, then you need to also build into your activities, into your routine, into your schedule, what restores you, restorative activities. Once you have those, go to them, use them. If the point in time come when you still feel like you're good and you're doing it, don't scrap it. You might push it out for half an hour or an hour, but don't scrap it. Make it a normal, regular thing in your days, and it will do you a lot of good. Progress is the greatest motivator, as I said before. So you need to have these things that you know where those progresses, when the progress is happening. And lastly, you need to also build in the restorative activities so your mind can function at optimal levels. When you have far to go, you have to have systems that can take you far. Most of us have big goals, but we have nothing to leverage to those big goals. It's like me telling you to climb this building that is 25 stories tall. It doesn't have a stairs, it doesn't have an elevator, it doesn't have a ladder. You're not going to get far. You probably hook your feet and maybe able to use some little trick and hack to get halfway up or quarter way up, but you can't go really far because you don't have the right tools and the right systems. You need tools. So these are tools that you need to put in your backpack to get on with having a productive year. So that has been episode 5 of the series. We're going all the way to 20. I hope I don't lose you. Stay with me, guys. I have beautiful things to share about how you can really nail this down. I'm pulling from all over. I'm just digging and researching. I'm pulling from my own experiences, what has worked for me, what has worked for so many other people. I want to share them here so you can have them. Maybe, just maybe at that point in time, somewhere in the series, you'll have that aha moment. We're always looking for events, and I warn against that all the time. MJ DeMarco did that in his book. He did this whole thing about events. Us looking at the habit of looking at an event and using it to define success. It's not an event. Don't think that is one podcast. Oh, I just listened to Lou and it didn't help me. No. If you're listening to positive content, always listen to it because it is there in your cycle. It is there in your subconscious. It will come up. It will help you. And maybe one point will shift it for you. Not that it will be new, but it will come at a time when you're really ready to receive it, or when you have gotten enough of the other information to use that one thing to put it all together for you. So that's how it works. Forget events. Forget this great moment. Just start to think about how all these little things come together. If you listen to people who have made it big, there was not one thing, one defining thing. And even if there was one defining thing, there was a cluster of other activities that get them to really deliver on this defining moment. So continue to surround yourself with that influx of growth-oriented stuff, positive-oriented stuff, can-do-oriented stuff. It will come home to you. It will all gel and come together. Just like the way you talk and walk and behave now. It wasn't this moment when you walk up to your mom or walk up to school or walk up to anybody else and they hand you this attitude and they hand you this mode of behavior. It is years upon years and hours upon hours of small things going in, small thing going in, and all of it end up molding into one. That's what you're trying to do. Understand it from an intelligent perspective. Understand it from that angle. It's the same thing with everything else. With your growth, with your wealth process, with your growth process, everything. That's how it works. A small set of things constantly over and over again that culminates into a beautiful whole. Thank you. Always a pleasure. Low and Motivator Car here. Enjoy your day. Join me tomorrow for episode 6 in the series. We're going 20 for 2020. Corny you may think, but it's a miracle. It's working wonders. Thank you so much.